doesn't matter at all, long as you're being true. Fearfully and wonderfully you. Fearfully and wonderfully you. Fearfully and wonderfully you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So glad to be back. If you noticed, last week I took a break from YouTube, and I know y'all are like, well, you just started, so sorry. But you know, everything's been crazy, and the very first week that I posted my first video, George Floyd happened. So I made that video, then George Floyd happened, and then that was just a trying week anyways. And then I had the next video, and I was kind of just giving you guys my heart about everything that was happening at that time, and just like my feelings about everything. And then last week came, and I just had nothing. Like, I had zero to say. And I was kind of in like a place where I just didn't want to be sad, and I didn't want to be like disingenuous either by just putting something up. So I asked some folks, and they were like, I think people will be okay with you taking a break, or just, you know, something. Because sometimes, you know, it builds up. And if you're Black, then you already know, like, it is tiring to just be, it's tiring to have to always know your feelings about something that affects you, your people, your culture, all of that. So I didn't have a video last week. And I was struggling this week because, y'all, I am mid-key a procrastinator. And I was like, okay, well, am I ready to do it this week? But I didn't want to keep putting it off. I didn't want to keep saying like, I'm not ready, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. So I'm just going to tell you guys now that I am still like a little bit of an emotional whirlwind, and hopefully you guys can appreciate me telling you and give me some grace, okay? So I am going to talk a little bit about like some stuff that's going on, and just like in general, how I've been feeling lately. So hopefully it won't be too, you know, pressing. Hopefully it won't be too, you know, somber, because I would like to have fun on here, but you know, some things are taking precedence right now. So one thing I will say is, you know, one of the things that I've been feeling, and I've been to the protests. I prefer less of my opinions to be verbal, and I prefer them to be more action driven. So before I stop and want to have this long conversation or debate with someone saying, you know, this is why we matter, and this and this and this and this and this and this and this, before I do that, I really prefer to just kind of lead with my actions, so that people can see, okay, this is what she's doing, so this obviously is what she believes in, because I think that just makes sense. So that's what I've done. I've protested, I've posted about it, I've said I've said a lot of things that I felt needed to be said, that were not in conversation. I have had just a smidgen, a very small percentage of people like privately ask me about like what's going on and what, like, to explain it to them. And because they were brave enough to ask, even after I said I didn't want to talk about it, I gave into the conversations for them. And I feel like they were gainful conversations. I feel like once I explained certain things, they understood those things, and they were able to grasp, because I'm just not going to go back and forth with a brick wall anyway. So they said that they understood, and I feel like they were genuine. So I feel like that was, if nothing else, a seed planted in good ground. So yes. Next thing is, I want to touch on this just a little bit. Like the whole idea of like patriarchy and racism and how they like combine, and like how they intersect has really been bothering me this week. It's been bothering me because I keep finding myself in situations where I'm not feeling 100% safe with my black men. And when I say my black men, I pretty much mean any black man. And I just think that it's so unfortunate that that's the case, because black women, we root for them, we support them, we do all these things, we fight for them, we protest for them, we speak out for them, all these things, but I still can't walk down the street with y'all without y'all doing a little catcalling thing. And that's really never been like an issue for me, but like I work in like a downtown type of area, and so I decided to walk way across downtown one day for lunch, a sandwich that was not even that good. And in the middle of that, there was like some construction, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, right? Construction, who cares? It was all black men, and I was like, man, I'm fine, you know, no problem. As a woman, you know that any group of men, if you really aren't in the mood to be chatting, you put your headphones on, you like get in your phone, you just walking brisk. In this moment though, I did have my headphones on, or did I? Maybe I didn't, because I was actually on a lunch break. So maybe I didn't even have my headphones on. So my bad. They knew I could hear them. So I was walking, and I was thinking, like, in my head, I was thinking, like, man, I've been protesting for these brothers and their lives and trying to make sure that they're safe and all that. I'm safe. I'm fine with this, like, walking through these guys. I didn't get to the corner of the sidewalk before it was just like, and as a woman, you know, you like, and you keep going, and it's no problem. But in that moment, I was like, dang, like, I feel like as a black woman, I wanted to still feel safe in that moment. But, you know, I didn't. And that's nothing against them as people. It's something against them. It's something against them in the sense of, you still don't know that you really ain't got no reason to be catcalling people walking. Like, you don't know that. And I just found that to be like very disheartening. Also, like, Breonna Taylor dies, we still don't have like justice for Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Kanika, like, it's so many women, and we just forget them. Like, none of the women have caused an uprise like George Floyd did, or so many of the other men who have passed. And as I feel the fight for black men and their safety is so important, I want us to be on a level playing field when it comes to us seeking justice for black women as well. They will kill us too, like, and the attention just never quite is the same. It's always black man's name, black man's name, black man's name. Oh yeah, don't forget, this black woman died too, and we still need justice for her. It's always like we're like 2-3 notches down behind men who equally were killed. Like, they were all wrongfully murdered, but for some reason black women's names never quite get to the forefront in the same way that our black men do. And I want justice for all of them. And I want it to be the case where it should be this name and this name, and they should be the same. Like, everything should be happening for them the same. The uproar should happen the same for both. And the women shouldn't be an afterthought, which is what seems to keep happening, is that the women are the Black women that are being killed become like an afterthought, almost like don't forget, when it should be right at the top with the men. So that's kind of been on me lately. And tell me, like, am I tripping? Because I could be tripping. I'm not saying that I'm not tripping. I could be tripping, but let me know in the comments, like, is that something that you felt? Is it something that you even consider? Have you ever even considered that? Lately, that's kind of just been on me, like, how is it that in all of this, Black women are at the forefront of all of these, they're the forefront of all of these protests and all these marches and all these organizations that are specifically speaking about Black lives, but when Black women are murdered, they become an afterthought of some sort. And I don't like that. And I've been feeling the way about it. So I'm telling y'all. And y'all can tell me if I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. I ain't tripping. But maybe you can tell me. Another thing that has kind of been on me lately is us getting so hyped about these corporations, saying, you know, that we matter and all that type of stuff, and us getting upset about like the companies who aren't saying it. And I believe I've said it before, but I like loud and silent. I like both sides of the racist field. The loud ones and the silent ones. Because either way, I'm going to know who I'm dealing with. So, I know that if you outright say, we don't care about y'all being murdered, that you don't care about us being murdered. I got it. I know who you are. I know how to rock. I know how to move. I know how to stay away from you. I know how to fight against people like you. Like, I know how to do that. When they're silent, they're saying the same thing. So I know how to move with them too. I know how to move when you're silent. When you say nothing, when you do nothing, when there's just nothing happening, like your life just continues on as if zero is happening, then I know where you stand too, and I know how to move with you. I know how to adjust. I know how to do all of that. The people who are on the fence, those are the people who I really don't like I don't know where to put them. So if you are loud and strong, Black Lives Matter, you out, you're posting, you're trying to correct people and all that type of stuff as a non-person of color, then I know where you stand. Good job. You're trying, you're doing your part. Hooray, we love you. We're here, you know? Even the people that are on the fence, like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand, and I want to understand. I can work with that. I can work with that. See, I can work with the whole spectrum of it. I can work with the whole. I get the people who have questions. I get that. But we're getting hype about these corporations who have pretty much did I say much? That's not a word. Okay. Pretty much watched. They have, I know words. They have pretty much watched corporate, like, buildings being burned at this point, because they realize that it's something about right now. It's something about this movement that's happening right now today that's a little bit different than before. They've learned our tactics and they're using them against us, and they're burning our stuff down. And we don't need them burning no more of our stuff down. So now they're all of a sudden, everybody's for it. Okay. All they're saying is, please don't burn our buildings. Please. We stand too, like, we agree. These people don't have maybe one Black person on their executive boards, and that Black person is probably something about diversity is in their title. Probably. Maybe. If they have one, that's what their title is. Most likely. They're not interested in the movement. They have no forward goals to include more people of color, more black people, more black women into their corporate community. They have no plans. None. They have no more plans than they had yesterday before they posted it that they have today to hire more black people, to put things in place to stop discrimination of black people. One black person at the top of a huge company cannot be responsible for getting every other black person in the door that may want to come into that organization. They can't be responsible, not just one person. You need multiple throughout the entire thing. But that's what they're doing because they're terrified now. They're getting a little nervous. They're noticing that we haven't bought anything. Well, let me not say that. I bought something from Amazon last week. But whatever. Anyways, that's a whole nother conversation. But they're noticing that we're starting to be more specific with where our money is going. They're noticing that in this time, people have come up with lists of black-owned things and black-owned brands, makeup, beauty, skincare, food. There's a black-owned grocery store in my city I never knew about. They're figuring out that black-owned banks, they're figuring out that we are now finding each other and we're deciding to put our money there. And that is why they're upset. Just because they put up all Black Lives Matter does not mean that they all of a sudden care about you. You need to see real effective change. Real change that they can't fix overnight. So since they can't fix it overnight and they don't really care, they just don't want you burning down their stuff, and they're hoping that because their name is on this list that says they put up a banner, they put a post on social media, that you will continue to shop them and not feel guilty. That's the goal. That's what they're hoping for. So instead, hooray. We can clap for them that they put up a post. They might lose some money from the people who don't care about us, and that's probably it. They're not risking a lot by doing that. It's not a risk. Most of the companies that did it still sent money to Trump. They don't care. They just don't want you to burn their stuff down. They don't want you to burn their stuff. That's all they're trying to say. They want you to not feel guilty when you still come in their store and you still buy stuff because you can say, oh, they posted something, they're safe. No, they're not. They're still not safe. The top executives of those corporations, those organizations, those companies are still white men who are solely focused on the bottom dollar. That's it. They're only concerned about their money. Those are the people that are up there. That's all they're concerned about. They're the ones who's post what you want to post. They don't care about this stuff. So stop getting so excited. I want us to not be so excited. It's the same thing I think about when we keep inviting people to this imaginary cookout. Quit inviting them jokers to our stuff. That's the problem. We keep wanting to be inclusive, but they don't want us. They don't need to don't stop inviting them jokers to our stuff. Don't invite them to our cookout. Let them tell the people at their barbecue. Is that what they call it? A barbecue? We call it cookouts. They call it barbecue. Tell them to tell the people. They need to stay at their barbecue and tell the people that's at the barbecue to leave the people at the cookout alone. That's what we need. So it's the same thing. We're getting so excited about someone mentioning us. And prior to all of this integration, that's great. It's great. Okay. We were self-sufficient. We made our own food. We grew it from the ground that we tilled. We made our own clothes. We bought from the people who made their clothes. We had our own grocery stores, our own banks, our own insurance. We had our own stuff and we thrived. We don't have to be included in their stuff. We just have to support the stuff that we have. That's all. Integration is cool. But what I'm saying is, integration is partly what got us here. They don't want us in their stuff, so they make it hard for us to be in their stuff. That's why we had to make HBCUs. That's how they came about. They didn't want us in their stuff, so we had to make our own stuff. Same thing. We need to focus on us. Focus on us. Focus on building us. Focus on making conglomerates of us. Focus on someone having something and figuring out how they can make it a franchise. We need our own stuff to be proud of, to hold, that they can't take from us. See, they gave us education so we can learn all these other things. Now we can learn the same stuff they learn. It may take us a little bit longer to get to where they've gotten because, of course, they had slaves that helped build their empires, but we can get there. And it won't be at the cost of our dignity and our humanity. We won't have to keep explaining ourselves and our culture and our hair and how we look and how we talk, and no one will say that we're being too aggressive because we're passionate. Like, we won't have those problems. We won't have an HR department that doesn't understand us, so they just keep sweeping things under the rug and saying that we're not a team player. We won't have that because we'll have us. I just want us to love us. That's all. That's, I think, all the rant that I have. I did want to get all of that out. Hopefully, again, y'all hear like my heart and all of this. I'm gonna next week's video will be a little different. I'm hoping. I actually want to try and do like an advice column. I want to do an advice column. So I'm gonna try that next week. Okay. So yes, let me know what you think about this video. Comment below. Tell me what you think about us supporting like Black-owned businesses without all the excuses. You know, we like to do that. But anyways, tell a friend, share with a friend, please. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. Do that for me, please. I love you. You love me, I hope. And I'm gonna let you go. I don't know. Y'all know how it goes. Stay safe, stay Black, stay powerful, fearfully and wonderfully made. That's you, girl.